Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the live coding stream. I was just getting things sorted, baby sorted. So what are we going to do today? I want to do some experimenting with Pydantic AI and also with Fast API MCP and see how quickly we can incorporate those two things. So let's go for it. I'm going to be working off of this repo here, which is my template to do RAG on Postgres. And this is one that John has also worked with. So thank you, John, coming by. Yeah, now I have made a couple changes to it recently. Like I added support for GitHub models, and I've been working on some safety evaluation changes, some red teaming, that sort of stuff. But today I want to do some Python stuff. So I was trying to get it like just working locally, and if I'm already running into some like weirdness with the Python debugger. I think I must have upgraded my debugger because right now it doesn't like a lot of things in my .env that it was okay with before. So I'm just fixing up the things it doesn't like so that I can just get it running locally. So locally, usually I run it with the local Postgres, right? And then I can point it either at Azure, OpenAI, Olama, or even GitHub now. So let's see. So interestingly, yeah, it just is being a lot pickier about putting things inside quotes. So I'm just going to go through and put everything in quotes. So this might be something on the like PyDebugger side. Maybe they are using a much stricter thing to read the .env files. There you can see my GitHub token. I can revoke that after. That's just for GitHub models. It doesn't have access to anything else. So I'm just going to go ahead and add quote marks around just everything because it's just, I think that's probably enough because it hasn't barfed on anything else. Let's see. Just to get this running. All right. Localhost is not defined. What is going on with this? Yeah, localhost is not defined because it doesn't need to be defined. That is crazy. I don't understand what's going on with this debug py. I wonder if I change something in my configuration. I could also like instead of doing the debug menu, maybe I'll just use the okay. We won't use the debug menu just because something is funky there. So instead we can just use this and just run the Fast API app directly. All right, so let's just do it that way because I don't understand what's going on with the run and debug. Oh, that's not the command. All right, I'll take this command here to run the Fast API app using Unicorn locally. Okay, so that should run the backend. And currently this backend is should be pointing at an Azure model. Though we can also point it at Olama or GitHub. You see, I actually did have it running earlier this week. So this is what we're waiting to show up is this Fast API backend. This was the React front end. There we go. Come on. Okay. Yeah. And it also renders the front end though. To get the most up-to-date front end, it's best to actually use Byte for that. So that would be a separate command where we do npm run dev. Let me make this bigger. Okay. All right. So that should give us the hot reloaded front end, just in case we do make changes to the front end. That'll load the front end. All right. Let's check to make sure that this is working. So this is basic, just get it from the database. Okay, so that got a row from the database, which is the outdoor products website. Let's try our vector search. So we'll put in a ID of a row here and we get back the most similar things. It's a bunch of snowboards. So maybe it was a snowboard that I was looking at for. Let's do search and climbing boots. Let's see if everything's working. This one requires a vector query, so this will make sure that our vector query is working, vector embedding is working. Okay. All right, and then we have the chat. So now we'll just actually do the chat and see that we can get back a full response, make sure everything is working here. All right, looks good. So now we can go and board it. I should make a new, let me make a new branch for this. I was already branched off of a different branch. Let me actually check out main so that I don't branch off a different branch. Okay, check out main. Okay, actually, no, okay. And then add red teaming changes. I was working on red teaming, which is really cool, but different thing entirely. Okay, main. Okay, and Pydantic AI. All right, we made the branch. So now let's go to the docs for Pydantic AI and also open up my basic examples of Pydantic AI. So we have the Azure Agent Framework demos. Okay. All right. So we'll look at, just open all our resources here. Okay. So we got Pydantic AI here. We've got some Pydantic AI demos in here. So what I might do is just basically look at this. I think this is the most similar demo because this is like, we're not doing something super fancy here. We are using tools. You can see that here. This first step does use tools. And I have even some few shot examples for the tools. But we're not doing like really like multiple agents. So I really just wanted this sort of thing here, where we create an agent and we pass in the tools. So let's see if Copilot can write the code, because I always like to see if Copilot can write the code, because it's my job to like figure out how to use these Copilot tools. So first, I'm just going to find the most relevant part of the code that we would change. So that would be in like RAG simple and RAG advanced. Double click. Okay. All right. And let's see. It's always fun to see what I can do. So I'll say port this app to use Pydantic AI to create an agent with tools for query rewriting. Base it off this example. And I'm going to try this like fetch. If you do hash fetch, then you're telling the GitHub agent to go and fetch. And then let's do 3.5 sonnet. I hear good things about that. Okay. All right. Let's see how it does if we give an example. Normally, I wouldn't use Copilot agent mode with, you know, a framework like Pydantic AI that's so new and so changing a lot as well. But since I do have an existing example that works, at least the last week that I checked it, it might work. So it's okay. So it's looking through to see examples, but while it's doing that, we can take a look and see too. So what do we do? So we search and embed. So that is, so that's not using the LM. It is kind of a tool too. I didn't kind of structure this as a tool, but here's where we build the messages. Might want to not do that anymore. Okay. Oh, this is where, okay, so this is the really key thing here. This is where we send off the chat completion request. This is in the simple flow that doesn't have any query rewriting though. I don't know if it's going to be able to do this. The advanced flow is where we have like a query rewriting phase at first. I'm looking for the one that has tools in it. This one, generate search query. So this sends off this completion request and passes in the tools. So this one, I definitely wanted to port this to using an agent. Oh yeah, it finished. Okay. So it wants to do a pip install. Well, I'm not even going to do it that way, right? Because we don't do pip install here. We do everything in pyproject.taml. So we'll just go ahead and add Pydantic AI to pytoml. And we have the other things, python.env as your identity. We have those. So I'm going to tell it not to do that. How do I? Okay. Can't see the button. Let's see. Can't scroll to this button. Let me scroll. All right, we'll just guess what the button is. I'm going to click this gray one. Okay. I don't know what button I clicked because I couldn't scroll to it. All right. So I've already gone against what it wanted me to do. I'm not good at vibe coding, am I? But I'm going to go ahead and make sure we've got that Pydantic AI requirement installed. Yeah, I know. I should have screenshotted that to send it to the team. We've got a long chat going with the Copilot folks where we send them all of our feedback on agent mode. Okay, so we're installing Pydantic AI. Okay, and so that brought in, yeah, that did bring in a few more things. So we got Pydantic Photo, interesting. Fast Avro, I don't know what that one is. Pigments for syntax highlighting. All right, so it's installing all that stuff. And then I think I just told it, okay, I have now installed it. You can proceed. Now we also have this code here, which is where we set up the OpenAI clients, right? So we have, depending on whether we're doing Key or whether we're doing Olama or GitHub or whatever, we have, all this code here that sets it up. It's still installing. I really should use UV. It would be much faster. I think sometimes I do use UV with this one. It's analyzing the README. Being a little slow, huh? Let's see who can do it faster, me or GitHub Copilot agent mode. Let's go ahead and bring in, just starting with this one. Okay, so all right, so interesting. So when we're generating, this is our advanced RAG mode, right? This is where we do the query writing, and this is the big one that uses the tool. So this one does do this build messages function. Now, what build messages does is that it looks at the token limit of your model and then tries to compress the messages to fit in that token limit. As far as I know, this is not going to be easy to do with Pydantic AI. I don't know how to hook into that, but I've also recently removed this entirely from the other RAG repo because the context windows are so big for models these days that it seems like we don't need this as much. So we might just remove this. Oh, that's not how we remove in Python. We might just remove the build messages entirely as functionality since we don't, since our context windows are getting so big, right? This was basically a truncation to possibly remove logic that truncates message history since LLM context windows are so large now. Okay, and so then that will so then when we're sending it off, we're just going to send in the full messages. So we have the original user query, the past messages, the past messages plus. Yeah, there we go. So that would get rid of that. Model is not. Okay. Oh, it's trying to make like a whole. Oh, what did it make here? Okay, it made a rag agent. It wants to make like a whole thing. Woo. Okay, and it made like all these things. Okay, it made all these Pydantic base models. Interesting. Don't think that's quite what we need. I'm just gonna stop it. I think for this, I'll find it easier just to do it myself. Okay, I'm gonna undo. All right, done. Stop. Okay. All right. So instead, I'll just look at my example here and port it over this way. All right, so agent is going to get passed a model, and the model class, the way we make it is going to be like this. So it's a model equals OpenAI model, and we have to give it a provider. And the provider is going to be, we already actually have a client, so we should be able to pass in, it takes in this client here that we've already made. So basically here, this is the client. We're going to pass that into Pydantic AI. Now it still wants to know separately, we have to pass in the deployment. So we need to get access to that deployment. I'm just seeing if, did I set that anywhere here? Where do I pass in the deployment? Oh, I set it on the client itself too. But Pydantic AI wants it set separately. So let me see if I can get it off of the client. Self.openai chat client dot. It doesn't have the IntelliSense. So let's see. Is it gonna let me access Azure deployment? It's self.azure. Does it do it? Does it do deployment? Okay, it's an underscored. So when things are underscored, that means we should not reach in and take them. So what we'll have to do is just set it. We'll just have to grab it from the environment for now. So I'll go ahead and grab it from the environment. So this is the environment thing. So I'll do os.environ. So this takes a little more setup. Okay. And let's go and import some stuff up here. And so what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste all the imports from up here, because usually my linter like cleans it up for me, right? Or at least shows me what I'm not using, right? So I'm not using that, not using it. Okay. All right. So I can just delete the things I'm not using here. Okay. All right. So where did we go? Where are we? Okay. Agent. All right. So here's the model. And we'll close that. All right. So this model, this is from Pydantic, and now we've got this imported, and this is also from Pydantic, and we passed in the client, and the client is either async OpenAI or async Azure OpenAI, which is correct. I'm using the async Azure OpenAI here. So that should work. And then the next step is we have the agent, and we need to pass it some tools, and we need to pass it a system prompt. So this is not the system prompt. So where do we get the system prompt from? We're going to get that from, I store the prompts locally. So I have like a little prompt folder. So in this case, the system prompt is in query.txt. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, open prompts / query.txt .read. Okay. So that's my system prompt. And then we need the tool. So because right now the tool is this whole file here is where the tools are. But we should be able to do that tool as like a proper Python function, right? So we'll actually have a function called search database. So let's add that here. Now, this is a global function. I don't actually know if it works as a method. We haven't tried methods. So let's just start it as we'll start it as a global, and then we'll see if we can make it into a method. So search database and search query. Okay, great. All right. So search query string, price filter, optional dict. Okay. Search. And there we go. Wired search query. Okay, good. Yeah, so it did see everything that was here. Now, one thing it didn't do is it didn't bring in all of my information about the dictionary. So maybe what we need to do is make this like a type dict. Maybe they should be like a typed dict. Make a type dict for price filter, because I want to get this this description in here, right? And right now we actually don't have any descriptions. So we want descriptions on our stuff. Let's just also check to see how Pydantic AI thinks we should do that. Oh, John has a good suggestion. Okay, I didn't realize. I thought I would have it somewhere. Okay, agent. All right, so John says I already have it. Query prompt. Oh, thank you. That's much better. All right, I thought I would have had that somewhere. Thank you. All right, so question is, how do we get the nice descriptions in our JSON schema of what each of the arguments are? Image URL. Okay, that's the return value. Okay, function tools and schema. Functions parameters are extracted from the functions. Oh, you can get it. Okay, they use something called Griff. Okay, it extracts parameter descriptions from Google, NumPy, and Sphinx style doc strings. Interesting. So instead of using, oh, you can actually like tell it. Okay. All right, so I guess I thought we were going to use annotated. Like with Fast API, we often use annotated to annotate the fields, but this seems to be suggesting that we should put the description in the thing. Or this one has like agent info. What is agent info? Agent info is imported. Okay, well, I don't know. All right, additional properties, blah, 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 description. Okay, or if it's a single parameter that can represent an object, like a data class type dict. Okay. Dynamic function tools. Well, it's still not clear to me exactly how we should do it to get the stuff out, but let's just try price filter as a type dict. And is that where we import it from? Yeah. All right, so price filter could be a type dict, which takes a comparison operator and a value. I still want to have this annotated though, so I think I'd have to do like this. Yes, comparison, compare. Okay, so this one, I want to put it into here. Oh man, this is going to be the hardest part, is figuring out how to write this as a function. Okay, so annotated, I think also comes from typing. Does it? Yes. Okay. So annotated, and then the value is this one. Okay. Annotated. Okay. All right. It got that. All right. I don't know if this is going to be the correct way to do it, but it feels reasonable. Oh, you're saying to do a field? Okay. Yeah, I didn't know the field would also work for the arguments. I've used fields for the like post body. Okay, so Pydantic has a field, various new field. That does look a little nicer. But I didn't know if that would work here. Okay, all right. Or maybe we should use field. Let's see what the schema looks like when it comes back out. right? Because basically we want the schema to ultimately look like this when it comes out, you know, when it gets converted into a JSON schema and sent along. So let's do this as a brand filter. Class brand filter. And brand filter is this or this. Okay, good. So it brought everything in there. And then we still need the description of the search query. So how do we describe the search query? Oh, and also the price filter. Yes, we're missing like these descriptions too. Okay. So the question is, can we also annotate these? Yeah. Annotated string. Okay, search query. Yep, that was right. And then annotated price filter. I don't know if I think we were missing the optional now, but maybe it's okay because it has equals none. Okay. All right. We're just gonna print it out. Okay. All right. Okay. So everything that is in the current schema is now represented. Now, whether we're representing it the right way, I don't honestly know. We may need to do something completely different, like with field or something else. But it is technically represented somewhere in there. We could also do, like I was saying, like apparently, like in the docs, like they were saying to, you know, to put it in the docs. Wait, do I have an overall? Oh yeah, I'm missing this. I should at least have this. Okay. All right. Now everything is represented. So we could also try doing a, yeah, we could also potentially, I don't know which one I like better. But the thing is, like in here, I've got the strings inside annotated. So I feel like if I'm using annotated in some places, then I should use it everywhere. I'm having a hard time deciding. We have too many ways of doing it. And then, oh, and what about the, okay. All right. And I didn't give it a return value, but you would think that ultimately we would probably like return like a list of item. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we'll make it do eventually. Okay. All right. So the agent gets the model, gets the prompt, and gets the tools. And then we're going to, how do we call that agent? We just do agent.run. Okay, we're going to do agent.run. Result equals agent.run. And we're going to pass it the original user query. Oh yeah, what about past messages? Here we're doing, can we give it message history? Okay, message history. All right, message history equals, I can try past messages. It looks like it's a different format, so we may need to convert it because it's model message is the format. So we might get an error on that. Let's see, go definition, model messages. Okay, model message and a model request and a model. Does it have like an adapter for OpenAI? Okay. So we may need to transform it. We'll find out. All right. What else? So the model is taken care of. Then we have stuff like temperature. Where do we do? That's a good question. Where do we do temperature? System prompt. That is maybe probably model settings. Let's see, model settings. So let's go to definition for this one and take a look at model settings. So model settings is where we do max tokens, temperature, top P. Oh, look, they have a list of everyone who supports it. Parallel tool calls, seed, frequency bias. Okay, it's like all the possible things we could pass in. All right, so that is actually on the agent level. Let's put these on different lines now. All right, so we're going to say model settings equals model settings and temperature equals 0, max tokens equals that. Oh, we're even passing in a seed. Nice. Seed equals seed. Let's see. This is taken care of. I think it's always defaults to n equals 1, so we can get rid of that. Okay. So now I think we've represented everything. We need to go ahead and do an import up here and figure out where the model settings comes from. Model settings. Where's the import? Import for model settings. From settings, import model settings. Okay, so maybe it's like from Pydantic AI.settings, import model settings. That doesn't exist. So let's just try putting it under here. All right, that's fine. Okay. So that works. And then I'm just going to exit here just because I want to see if we can get this far. That's fine. Okay. All right. So that's fine. Okay. All right. So let's do this. All right. Tools. Build search function. Oh, yeah. The tools was this. All right. So the hope is that we don't need any of this. Tool choice auto. All right. Let's try it. Okay. I'm just gonna close this. Oh, Unicorn. It's always hard to exit Unicorn. Unicorn never wants you to quit it. Unicorn, come on. Let me quit you. I want to quit you, Unicorn. Okay. We're just gonna exit that process, start a new process. Yeah, I am printing the result up here where we should get a print out of this one. Yeah, because I actually didn't return anything yet. Okay. All right. So I made up where model settings came from. That was incorrect. So let's find out where model settings actually comes from. We'll go to models, model settings, model settings. Where do we get model settings from? Pydantic AI.settings. That was right. It was Pydantic AI.settings. Okay. All right. So let's go back to, yeah. What the heck? I totally guessed that right the first time. All right. Settings, import model settings. Okay. And quit and do it again. Too fast for Pylance. Okay. All right. Let's try this out. Let's see how it goes. All right, we already got an error. What is this async? What did this? Oh, because did I delete this in? I must have deleted. I got too happy deleting imports. And async generator probably comes from typing. Okay. Oh, collections.abc. All right. And then, let's just look at the problems here. Undefined name query messages. Okay, that's okay because we're going to exit, and that's fine. Okay. All right. So now all the errors should be gone. Still can't quit you. All right. If anyone knows how to quit Unicorn, otherwise I'm just going to keep closing the terminal. Okay. Retry. Let's see what we get here. Okay. Cool. We got something. It went by really fast. I'll show you. Here we go. We got climbing gear, comparison operator, and none. That's perfect. That's actually for this query. That is exactly what we wanted. So we actually did that part correctly, which is pretty cool. Now let's make sure that the JSON schema actually worked. So what I'll do is set my logging to be super high. So I do that in looks like in here. That's where I'm doing setting there. So I'll just set this to debug and then rerun the server. so that we should see, I think we should see the JSON schema go by if we set it to debug. So let's try that out. Okay. All right. Control Z. All right, I'll try Control Z. Well, remember also I'm on a Mac, so we'll see. All right, let's see. Generating. So what I want to see is, oh, I think it hasn't even started up yet. Sorry, I was too eager. It's still starting up. Yeah. I don't feel like that was in debug. Maybe. Oh, I turned off. Okay, yeah, I set those to warning. Okay, we might be in debug mode then. Okay, let's try this now. All right, good. We got it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is here's the dictionary. So I'll go ahead and format this. Format selection. Okay. All right. So what you can see is everything that went by, right? So we have the system prompt with user prompt. Now, notably, we are missing the few shot examples. I have that in a separate file. I'll have to see if I can give few shots with Pydantic. So let me add like a little to do for that. Where's our agent call? Okay, agent to do provide few shot examples. And that would just be, actually that would be in when we do the run with the message history, because it would be part of the message history. Okay. And then we can see the model, temperature, tool choice. I didn't do a stream in that case, seed in that case. That's correct. Okay. And now what I wanted to see was, did it get all the annotations here? So we have search database has a description, then parameters. It says required search query. That's correct. Brand filter. Okay. Brand filter. None of these have a description. The only description we got out was for the overall function. So it worked, but I really wanted to have the description in there. And you can see all we have is like the types. We don't have the description. So I guess annotated is not the way to do it. So we're going to discard annotated and then see what our options are. Okay, so learnings, annotated did not work. Okay, so then, when I use that with structured outputs. So I guess annotated works with structured outputs with the OpenAI SDK, but not with this one. Now I think the type did work, because if we look at this, we do see brand filter, comparison operator value. Yeah, so the type did work, but not the annotated. So I guess so. John was saying to try. Okay, John said doc string only, but we also had the idea of doing. The problem is if I do the doc string, I don't know how I'm going to give the information about the dictionary. But okay, let's just try. Okay, args search query. Yeah. So the thing is, how do I annotate each of these subfields? Can I do a doc string like on a typed dict? Is that a thing? Filter args. I don't know. Is that a thing? Let's see. Args. I mean, the thing is, it's not really args. But I'm trying to figure out how I can get these strings in there. So let's find out. Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and get rid of string there. Price filter. Price filter. Optional. Brand filter. And then get rid of annotated. here and float. All right. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay. All right. So experiment number 2 is doing everything in the doc string. I wonder if there's a formal way. Type dict doc string. What is that supposed to look? The proper way to document keys in doc string. Oh, hello. Hi, Wasim. Wasim's from JavaScript land where they use Zod for this. I think usually they use Zod. It's very similar to Pydantic. Okay, so after the class, so do an inline comment. Just do comment after each variable. Okay. If we look at and you see it's a class. So uses a class definition syntax. You can't use type comments otherwise putting a doc string above each other or documenting. Okay. And then there's Google style doc strings with attributes. So we would have to, it did, Pydantic AI did say it had support for that. Okay, so you said, so with attributes, we're going to do it using, where's the examples? So John says to use an inline. Did they have an example on this one? Okay. You don't. No. You can't use. Okay. No. Type uses the class definite act as class. Okay. Putting a doc string above each variable or documenting the members in the class doc string. Okay. Do you have an example in the actual PEP for type dict? Okay. All right. All right. So let's try. Okay. So you're saying like this? Nope. I don't want it to do. I want document each class variable in the type dict. I guess it'd be each attribute in the type dict. Each attribute in the type dict. What does it think we should do? Because I can see so many different ways. We can go like this, right? We could go, I could put it everywhere, right? We could do that. We could do this like that. It feels so weird that like just to use a doc string right before it, but if it works, it works. I just don't know what's going to work. We're all going to become expert at doc strings now with MCP and with tool calling. It's a good way to force us to write doc strings. Okay, so this one did the inline comments. I think was one of your suggestions. All right, so we could try that one. Okay, certainly ties it to it. Okay, so let's just try this one. And then if we're going to try that one, then we're going to delete the args here because also I didn't think that the args would work. Class level doc streams, type in. Okay. All right. So test number 2. I want to get, because this is kind of redundant with the other thing. So we're going to try this. All right. So experiment number 1, annotated to not 1. Or experiment number 2, inline doc strings next to attributes. Okay. All right. I think we're ready for our experiment. Let's try Control Z. That worked. Thank you, John. Oh, John, wait, you're saying it needs to be above it? Okay, well, all right, we'll try this. Oh, do I have it running over here? Where's it running? What? It says address already in use. All right. Which one is using it? It's happy when I just close the terminal. So Control Z. Control Z didn't close the port. When I close the terminal, it did close the port. Oh, hello, Peter Card. Oh, this is very nice. Saying the streams are very helpful and informative. Thank you. Today is just a live coding stream where we don't know how successful we'll be, but we learn together. All right, let's try this out. Let's go back to our UI here and click retry. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and check it out and see if we got any more doc strings in here. Let me do a new file for this one. Python file, format selection. Okay. All right. So this time, okay, we got a little farther. Oh, this is interesting. I don't really like this, but okay. This time we got XML in our description. All right, so we got description has a summary and then it has returns. I don't know. Maybe that's the best practice. Has anyone seen this? This XML summary returns description. Where did this XML come from? Maybe this is a particular XML schema, particularly for descriptions. Interesting. Okay, then search query. So this is correct. And then price filter. Good. But then we did not get descriptions on the properties themselves. So still working on that. Yeah. So yeah. So John says this is the doc string I did. So if we look to here, it took this doc string and turned it into XML. I just didn't expect it to do that. So basically, yeah, it took this and surrounded by XML. So it said like, this was the summary. This was the returns, right? That's what it did here. So that's very interesting. And maybe that's best practice. Maybe it is. Okay, so experiment number 2 was function level doc string. Okay, so just to make a note, function level doc string leads to XML like this, which is maybe fine. It's just an observation. All right, experiment number 3, move the doc strings above the attributes. That's what I think what John was suggesting, right? So I'm going to take these and go like this and go like this, right? Or do we have to put them in triple quotes? I don't know if it would matter. If it would look if I don't know if I've never like tried parsing out. I've never written the code to like parse out things. Let me look one more, like Python docs, how to document. Let's just look at class attributes because it's, as the other comment said, is basically the same thing. So this one does like this, attributes. Oh yeah, we need it to be accessible. Single line comments. Okay, no. Attributes. We could try attributes. That would be another thing to try. Oh, John sent me a gist. Okay, let me look for the gist. Is that okay? Let's see. John sent me a gist. Okay, so he used triple quotes. Let me check out his gist. Getting live gist here. Very good. Okay. we got a gist. Let's check out this gist. We're gonna try it all. All right. So you did use triple quotes. Okay, that would make some sense to me. That maybe that would become accessible via the doc. So the thing is, like, it has to be something that's accessible to the tools that are building these things. And I haven't built one of those tools before, so I don't know, you know, whether this becomes available. But it looks, I think this looks similar to your gist. So basically you had tax activity. Oh, you had it underneath. Activity code would be, this is internal. Oh, so you had it underneath. Okay. All right. So let's try it underneath. That's what's weird to me though, is like, it's like, why is it underneath when the doc string we put like inside? So let's, but maybe, who knows? Like these things happen. Okay. Maybe it's underneath because otherwise, if you had a doc string here, you wouldn't know. Yeah, maybe that's why it's underneath. Okay. To distinguish between the doc string for this and what's the doc string for that. That could make sense. Okay, move that. So move the doc string below the attributes in triple quoted strings. Okay. All right. Let's give it another go. All right. Experiment number 3. I think we're gonna need to extend this session for an hour number 2. All right, let's go ahead and send the query. And let's see what's happening. Oh, it's not even ready yet. I shouldn't have sent the query. I need to wait for it to connect. There we go. Okay, application startup is complete. Let's send the query. All right. Ooh, I see something. Very exciting. Okay, so I think that worked. Let's find out for sure. So I'm going to paste in the stuff that came in. Oh, look at this. Okay. All right. I like this. All right. So we got the function description. We got the description on each of the arguments. And then within those dictionaries, we have a description. That worked. Thank you, John. Amazing. Okay. So I don't know for sure that that's what Pydantic would recommend, but this is working. So that's very cool. So experiment number 3, success. All right. Great. Okay, cool. So taking a look at this again. All right. So we're doing it. We're going the full docstring route, which is cool because that's probably compatible with other tools too. Oh, so John says that the Pydantic field would work too. Okay, that's good to know. I like the I mean, we are using Pydantic AI, so it would make sense to use Pydantic field. And I think we do we use base model elsewhere? I forget what we're using this one. I think we are maybe using base model. Yeah, we're using base model for like our fast API models. So it would certainly make sense that we could also try using base model here. But it's also fun to use like the standard Python way of doing things, because then that also means compatibility with other stuff like Pylance and whatnot. So cool. All right. So I think this is working good. All right. So hour number 1 was just getting the function definition written in such a way that we got all the information through. But that's good. All right. So next step is to actually return something from here. All right. So what would we normally do when we get back this stuff is that we would use it to actually search the databases. So we do like this search and embed. Okay. So that's generating the search query. Then we do search and embed. I'm realizing like the entire way I structured this code is not the way I would structure it with like the more agent-based approach. So let's see if I can change it a bit at a time. But all right. So what we want to do is basically like directly call called this function. All right, so results. Let's try here. So let's try doing the searching in here. Okay, so here's the issue. Search database is a global function. All right, so the first test is, can this be a method? Because if we can make this a method, then it'll be really good. Can we make this a method? So to make a method, it would have to be an async function, an async method, because we would need it to be async. All right, and can you do this? Can we pass in a method? I hope so. We'll find out. All right, reloading. Okay. So John says if we hover over the classmate, class name, we'll see the doc strings. I don't see it there, but let's go down here. Okay, here. Oh, because I didn't put a class level doc string, but presumably if I did like brand filter, brand filter dot comparison operator, is that it? Yeah. What is it? Brand filter dot comparison operator. Then we do see the doc string there. Yeah. So that's cool. Okay. All right. So does this work? Can we just pass in a method? Okay. I think that did it. Let's see. I see the doc string and then it exited. Yeah. Okay. So I think it was happy to pass that in, and we got back some stuff. Where did I'm just looking for my print. Now I'm debugging so much that everything's really filled in here. But I think that did work. Or at least it certainly didn't complain. Where did it exit? Right, it exited where we told it to exit, which makes sense. Okay. All right. So it looked like we were able to call a method, which is really nice. So now let's see if we can actually do the search inside that search method. Okay. Yeah, results. Okay, so now we should have, oh, but we didn't put self on here. Ooh. All right. We should have had self on here. Let's see if that's going to work. Okay. We're doing self and self. All right. So we're going to search using the search query and chat params. So that must have come. Okay. Enable vector search. All right. So these were all things that came from earlier filters. Filters. Okay, so the filter previously query brand filter. Let's just do a list of them. Price filter. No, we got to look to see how we did it before. Okay. All right, so query rewriter. All right, so before when we did filters, we basically made this. And we made like our own dictionary of it. But now we actually have the filters. So now, yeah, we should just pass them in. So we'll just say, price filter, brand filter, and pass those in. And then, so we kind of need to pass through some parameters from before, which is interesting. We need to pass this through. How are we going to pass this through? Okay. So I think that this is what Pydantic uses context for. So I think we need to read the docs about this and see. Yeah, there's context. See this context? I also just want to see if I have an example that does a method self. No, it doesn't. All right. All right. First, let's just make sure we can do self. That we can like really properly do a method, right? So now this is a method. It takes in self. It has access to self. Let's see if this is going to work. Okay. All right. So, okay. I'm just going to do the new terminal. Let's just check this method. No, it doesn't talk about that. All right. Context. Run context. Information about the current call. So here you have a tool that takes into context. And where do we give it the context? Context depths. Yeah, you pass in the, right. So we would pass in the context using the depths of the agent call, and then we would have it in there. The question is, can we have self, comma, context? I wonder if they do it in, don't know if they have an example somewhere of methods. All right, going back here, we're going to retry again. Okay, so I do see this, which is good. Climbing gear. Okay, so it's good. So it figured out, so it must check to see that the first one is self and just ignore it. All right, so that one worked. So then the next thing we want to add is the run context. So going here, adding run context here, and we're going to import that up here. Run context, okay. Run context, and then the depths is, so the run context, let's see what information we need. We need to know the top, the params. Basically, we need these chat params. So what is chat params? Chat params is a chat params object. Okay. So if we say that the context is a type of chat params, then we should be able to say context dot top, context dot enable, context dot this. Okay. And context is a run context of chat, context dot depths. Oh, context dot depths. All right, so it's context dot depths dot top. Okay. Context. Okay, now we've got, now it knows it's an int. All right. So because remember, if we're using Pydantic, ideally depths. We should have type annotations working everywhere. All right, that's a Boolean. That's a Boolean. Okay, so that is good. And then when we actually run it, we're going to need to pass in the depths. And how do we do depths? We can just, I think we can just pass it in directly. We'll just say chat params. Do we have access to chat params here? No. Where do we get the chat params from? All right, prepare context. Generate search query. Generate search query. We're going to pass in chat params. I'll just pass it in here. I think I need to do some simplification of this later. Okay. Okay, so we pass in, oh, and it shouldn't actually be an agent. It should be in the actual run, because I think in theory we can actually make the agent earlier. So depths is going to be chat params. Yeah, so John was asked who will pass the context. It should be just this. If I do, right, because you see here depths equals 41, depths equals 42. And that then becomes this context.depths here. So I think that should work. Okay, so then I'm going to return results. Results is a list of items. Okay, great. Results is a list of items. So that would be the correct thing it wants it to return. What is it? Touch graph. That's not necessary. Okay. All right. So we're gonna run. We got the result. Get the result, which is the items. So results. And then, all right. So in this case, so we actually already have the results at the time we've returned this. So we can actually return results. Generate search query. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and take all this code and just move it over because it's not really doing that much anymore. And it does, I don't think it needs its own function anymore. So prepare context. All right. And the query response token limit, we'll just pass it directly in here. Seed params.seed. Okay. Original query. Chat params.pass messages. Chat params.original user query. Okay. Chat params.seed. All right. Delete all this. Okay. So now we get the chat params, create the agent, run the agent. The agent itself does the searching in that function there. So we do the searching and we get back the list of items. All right, so let's see if we can get that far. Hello. Hi, Jeff. All right, welcome. So let's try. Let's try with this. Okay. And we're gonna remove, I'm gonna remove this one. So we're getting rid of build messages. Well, I can leave it for now, but all right. Starting up, going back here, reload. Generating answer, going here, got an empty result. Let's go back here. All right, now that I've got the debug level logging on, you'll see like just way too much information. It's a little hard to look at it all. So I'll probably turn that off, go back to info level logging just so, all right, what we do see here, we did get the result. This is the result. So climbing gear, comparison operator 30, that's correct. That's our search query, our price filter, and our brand filter is none. And then it went off and did the search. And it looks like that's where something is going wrong, right? So, you know, what we'll do next is we can go ahead and put a, well, we could do, oh, the run into bugs not working great right now. Okay, we can do, so I already think that this shouldn't be working yet because filters before was, maybe it is working. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to see how this is defined. So filters was a list of dictionaries, and that form of the dictionaries, what was the form of the dictionaries? So because now what we can do is actually say that the filters, you know, the filters are more specific than that. How are we using the filters? I'm not sure that the filters are being used correctly. Okay. So filter value. Oh no, actually I think this should be working. Okay. All right. I think we should try and get run and debug working again. Let's see. So I'm gonna close that, and let me go ahead and there, because I do want to use the VS Code debugger because it's nice. All right. Looks like debug py started up this time. Very good. But we still need the application startup. All right, application is started up. Let's check this again. Let's just do the simpler query, best shoe for hiking. All right, and we got empty. All right, so now what we'll do, now we've got the debugger working. Now we can go ahead and stick in a breakpoint. So let's do, let's go here, rag advanced. All right. And I'm going to go to my init and change the debugging level back to something a little more reasonable. Do info. I'll stick a breakpoint there and stick a breakpoint here. Okay. All right. Let's start it up again. All right. Here we go. So we're just waiting for it to start up here. Okay. All right. Everything's started up. We'll go send off the query. Okay. And the debugger has paused. So we're going to go through this and see what we have. So here's the agent. There's everything correct. Okay. So we run the agent. And then hopefully, okay, great. So we got a pause there. And here we can see price filter is none, brand filter is none. Search query is best shoe for hiking. So now what I'm going to do is step into this function. And let's see, do we have top? 3? Okay. True, true. All right. So that looks good. Now the filters, this is a little different. I passed in a list that has 2 nuns, and I think it might be a bit buggy because I don't think it's expecting that. Okay, so it says if enable vector search, so it's doing our text embeddings. That's fine. Doing an embedding there. Okay. All right, and let's dig into this one. And the filter clause. So if filters is none, which is not the case. So now it goes for filter and filters. If it's the value is a string. Ooh, what's it doing now? Okay. It seemed like it just broke right there. That's interesting. It seemed like it basically stopped. I think I'm swallowing errors. I think that I've got to try except somewhere that is like swallowing errors. I think this is errored out right here. I wonder where that's happening. Is there a try except here that's okay? Well, I think that errored out. And that's because now so if filter, I'm just gonna add this. If filter is none, break, continue. Yeah, so if filter is none, continue. Because this would have errored here. So I think I must be swallowing errors and not handling errors properly. Because I should have seen it. I should have seen the error in my code. All right. So let's check that out now. I'll start it up again. So filter clause, filter clause, filters is none. Oh, that's also going to be buggy. If filter clause, if they're none, we shouldn't do anything. So if filter clauses is none, yeah, we're just going to return that. All right. So this is a little inelegant. What we could do instead is like only send none filters. So we can say like filters equal, right? This would be the way that would actually align with how the code was before. And then just passing it that way. Yeah. So let's do it that way instead of having to add all this checking here. So this way, if we're only going to pass in a filter that actually exists. And then let's look at this. So value, filter, column, comparator, does that match everything we had up here? Filter, column, comparator. Column, where is column? Did we forget column in here? Oh, okay. We need to like hard code column to always, can we just always make it be, can we always make it be price? Always price for this filter. Yeah, I want it to just always be price. Is that going to work? I'm trying to reuse our types to look the way that this expects, right? So this wants the filter to have a column, a comparison operator, and a value, right? So now we have a column, comparison operator, value. Yeah, so really these are both kind of like subclasses of a, of a class. Okay. That looks better. Let's see if that's going to work. Okay, let's see. All right, it's starting up. Gonna wait for the app to start up here. All right. And still authenticating. Okay. And startup complete. All right. Just closing stuff while it starts up. Okay. So we'll start with this one. All right. I'm just going to play forward to the next breakpoint. Here we go. Okay. So now filters is an empty list. So that should be really straightforward because it doesn't have to build any filters. So it should just be, what it's used to, right? So we've got, you can see the query text, especially for hiking. Top is 3 in this case, vector search, text search, no filters. Okay. So that should be really straightforward. So we're going to compute the text embedding. Oh, and I ported this recently to the new text embedding model too, the text embedding 3. All right. All right, we got a vector. We're going to dive into this with the vector. The filter clause should be empty string. Yeah, so the filter is all empty. That's correct. And then we do the query. And that should be, so our vector query looks good. Just ordering by embedding. Okay, that looks good. All right, I'm just going to press play now. I feel like things are good. Ah. Okay. Well, How come we didn't get any results? All right, let's see. What do we got here? Console, network. All right, so we'll go and just do it again. Clear chat. And this time I'll just play. I'll just keep playing. Okay. All right, generating answer, network, stream. I want to see the results here. Is it still? Oh, play. Sorry, I must have a breakpoint there. Okay, play. Let me find all my breakpoints. Just turn them off now. All right. Okay, the response is null. All right, that's probably just something that got messed up elsewhere. So probably what we need to do is check out, actually debug past this point, because I think that it did get, I think it got results correct, and then something's happening here. So let's just, we'll just print out the results for fun. Okay, so there's the results. And then this build messages. Remember, this is truncating to fit in the context window, but we're going to go ahead and remove that because our context windows are so big now. Now these thoughts, this is just for debugging. So we can just, we can just move this in here. So query messages. What were query messages before? Query messages was everything we passed to that agent. So it was the chat params. I wonder if we can get some like debugging from Pydantic AI. Okay, so to do update this. All right, this is just for debugging stuff, so this shouldn't matter. Filters. So we don't have the filters anymore. All right, I'm just going to just to do. None of this should matter for the actual functionality. All right, and then return the messages. So we get back the content. So we want the content. And who's going to use this? So we call this function actually from the main code. All right, so let's see where we do this. So we call this function here in order to get back the messages, results, and thoughts. And then we pass that to the question answering. So this is what I mean. Like, I think I need like a really like a bigger refactor in order to properly do this the agentic way. Because in the agentic way, we would get back the results and then we would actually add those results to the conversation. But I've structured this like so differently that it's not easy to do that. Oh, and this is the reason why. We intentionally do the database searching before we stream down a response to avoid using database connections during the streaming. So that was why we separated the searching the database from the answering. Okay, and John probably remembers that too. Okay. All right, so let's see. So we get back, okay, so just trying to remember how, so we get back the results. All right, so we have results. And then we want to, give those back. So what were the contextual messages before? Let's look at my diff here. Contextual messages passed in the chat params prompt template. Okay. So now we want like a new agent, really. So I think that this should really just return back the content. All right, let's do results, thoughts. I don't know that we need contextual messages. So answer, right? This could be a new agent. Let's make this an agent. So we'll do 2 agents for make this a question answering agent. Okay. Yeah. All right. Model settings. So what do we do? Model settings, chat params. Okay, this one's actually a setting here. Max tokens. Setting. Chat params.seed. Okay. Oh, and we've got 2, one for streaming, one for non-streaming. I forgot about that. Okay. So then where do we do streaming? Streaming. Oh, streaming we don't do until we actually run it. Yeah, streaming's not in here. All right. So let's see. We got everything else. Textual messages. Okay. So that's the agent. And then we're going to run that. And we need to pass in some messages. So before we passed in, oh yeah, system prompt. We need this. Did we do the system prompt here? No, we didn't do the system prompt. Okay. System prompt. So this time it's not going to be the query. It's going to be the answer prompt template. Is that what we, yeah. So it's the answer prompt template. And then we're going to pass in the user prompt. All right. Well, is the user prompt already in the answer prompt template? It's just such a different way of doing things that's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. All right, assistant helps customer. Oh, the user prompt would be the actual user question. Okay, user prompt equals, yeah, the original user query. Okay, good. And then we're going to do, we could do message history, chat. Okay, past messages. Okay, model. Do we need to do model? We already passed model into the agent. All right, agent run, chat params, user query, message history, depths. I think we don't need the depths in this case because we're not doing tools. Now, where do we get streaming from? We want streaming. Streaming, run. How do we get streaming? Stream whales. Why am I streaming whales? I don't know. Okay. Run stream. All right, there we go. So actually this one's a non-streaming one. So we'll just let that be. Model settings, system prompt. Okay. All right, so that one's non-streaming, so that should be good. We haven't passed in the sources yet. So usually what it is user prompt plus sources. Textual. All right. So I don't think it needs contextual messages, but it does need the results. So we'll say sources. Can we just do results, thoughts, content? Plus sources, results. All right, so we get the user query. Here's the sources. There's the message history. Chat params, results. Earlier thoughts. All right, we'll just do like this, results. Okay. All right, we're going to go like this. It's hard to decide how to refactor something, especially live. Sources, content. Okay. All right. No, I think that belongs here because I'm trying to avoid like doing it multiple times. All right. So I don't know. We'll just return content here and we'll say I'll also do the results just in case it's useful, but results. All right. So we're going to pass back the string, the results, and the thoughts. And then here, we're going to get the content string. All right. Get back the response. And so now the response should be in, where do we get back the response? Forgot where to get the actual response. Result.output. Okay. So result.output. Response dot output. Is that correct? All right. Prompt. Review. Update. Okay. All right. And that's with the non-streaming. And then for streaming, I guess we should start with non-streaming. That should be easier in theory, right? Okay. So now we've got, all right. And then let's make sure that these are called in a way that they get the right information. So here, when we do prepare context, this is under chat. All right. So we're going to just say we're getting back results string from here. And then we're going to pass it into content equals results string. And I think that's right. Okay. And then stream is similar. Okay. All right. Okay. Whew. You know, I have to admit, I thought it would be a little simpler, but I didn't think about this, the fact that it's just really like when you change over to using a more agent-centric approach, it kind of changes the whole way you architect things, right? Before we were like based around LLM calls, and now we're not. All right, this is still starting up. So we'll wait for it to get started. I do think probably would have been good if I had a breakpoint. Where do I have a breakpoint? I do have a breakpoint here. Okay, good. That's a good place for a breakpoint. I could use one more here. All right, let's try this out. Oh, wait, this is in streaming mode. Yeah, we're going to turn off streaming. Turn off streaming. Okay, no more streaming. Now we go. And, and now we just got a, okay, now we just got a bug, which is fine. So it says that unable to serialize unknown type, Postgres models.item. All right. So that means, so it couldn't serialize it. Why was it trying to serialize it? Why was it trying? So did we, because we passed it, we must have directly passed it to Pydantic. Okay, so somewhere we directly passed it to Pydantic. So it says unable to serialize the item. Yeah, but why did he even try to pass it to Pydantic? Is the thing that I'm confused about. I guess because it so once we ran it, then it tried to pass it back. I actually only wanted to run it once. How do I, okay. I think it's still trying to, right, because with Pydantic AI, when you run an agent, by default, it actually tries to run it until it has the answer. Like it tries to actually like keep running it. I forgot about that. So that means that here, when it executed and then it actually, it keeps retrying. So like this example that I had here, I gave it 3 tools. It'll actually keep calling those tools. So what it really wants to do is like answer the whole, it wants to answer the whole question. It's trying to actually do it. This would be like okay, so all right. So we have to decide, are we doing 2 agents or 1 agent, right? So there could be 1 agent, which is like, okay, your job is to answer this question. And that's, you know, that would probably be the way we were going to do this if we do it from scratch. So I guess we could go down that route because that's what it wants. In that case, our system prompt, like the system prompt needs to work across the 2, you know, the 2 stages, right? The first stage is that like, okay, you don't have the information yet. You have to go out and get it. The second stage is, okay, you have the information and now you're going to answer the question. All right. So then if we're going to do that, so what happened was that I think it tried to actually add the tool call result to its history, which would make sense. And it couldn't do it, right? Because it was, we passed it a, what did we pass it? We passed it something from our Postgres models class, which is it's a SQL alchemy, as John says. So we need to dump them, right? Yeah, and I've got a toDict already here, and that's a good one. We can tell it to not include embedding. So why don't we do that? Yeah, we'll do results. So search and embed, that does return item. That makes sense. So then what we can do is result.toDict, and then we'll say include embedding equals false. I think that's even the default on it. Include embedding. Yeah, it is false. So we don't even have to say it that. But we could say it there to be explicit. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then it's going to work. Okay. All right. And then that means, though, if we're going to do it that way, then instead of this query prompt template, which is this query.text, man, this is like a full refactor now. Man, is this going to work? So here's the problem with doing it is that we had that issue before where we needed to separate the streaming answer from the non-streaming answer, right? So we specifically didn't use streaming here, but we do want to stream for the final stage. So what I really want to do is just to have this run once. Can I tell it to run? So we have usage limits and we have usage. So let me look at these. So I really just wanted to run. I only wanted to get the results here. So usage limits on model use, request limit, the maximum requests allowed to the model. I mean, I could do it really basic and just say, this is supposed to be like for like preventing like you to go over budget. But presumably I could also do, you know, like request, just do 1. But I wonder if there's a different run option. Let's see, run. Let's go here again. Is there like a run once? Run once? No. Okay. It's just a thought. All right. Then looking at here, agents, iterating, next, streaming, model run settings. Usage limits, runs versus conversations. A conversation might compose of multiple runs if you need to. Here's an example. Okay, so run sync. We get an output. Okay, so why don't we just try the usage limits for now, even though I don't know that that's really the right way to do it. But if we did this, run limit, and we said requests, I was like request limit 1. And okay, so I'm just going to try and get it to only run once. I feel like there must be a more canonical way of doing this, but we'll see. All right, so then if those are my results, then this actually is, so the problem is then I can't call this toString for rag. Maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll just do that here. I'll just do that here. Return back this. So this is actually going to be a list of strings. List of items, strings, formatted items. All right, that got it back. Okay, so that's results. And then, so then it's just a join. All right, so then I think we can just pass back results from here. And here we'll just get back results. We'll just pass in results. And there is, because the results are going to be like a list of strings already. Pass back results. Then here, when we actually answer, we're just going to do, we're going to have a list of strings here. So we'll say that. Yep. Undefined. Okay. All right. So this is not, this is kind of repeated. This is going to be repeated in 2 places for the streaming too. We'll figure that out later. Okay. So we get a list of strings. All right. So let's try this out. Okay. All right, let me start it up again. So it's still going to, I think Pydantic is still going to, try serializing the stuff that came back. So we still needed to have it be something that was serializable. But hopefully it doesn't try to like keep calling, since I've told it to request limit once. And maybe even without this, it wouldn't have called because it saw that it got the results it needed, right? So I could also like to do, can we safely remove? Okay. So let's go. All right. So this is in our first call. Let's see how we do with it. Usage limits. Okay. Let's look at the back end. All right, we got the filters, and then we just had an error. I think we just had an error. I think there must be a try except here that's swallowing stuff. So let's look to see where we have a try except, because yeah, this is a problem. I think our try except is 2. All right, not that one. It's probably, okay, what's this one? Not this one. Yeah, it's probably this one. Like the format is NDJSON, but this one's not showing the results. Okay, chat. This is the one that we're using. We should see an exception when we're getting this. All right, who knows? Let's do, yeah, you're right. That's right. I didn't disable streaming. So let's disable streaming, because we didn't see all the breakpoints we expected to see, right? So we should at least get more breakpoints this time, because I've now disabled the streaming. Oh, interesting. Look at this. The next request would exceed the request limit of 1. So if you do that, you actually get an exception. but it shouldn't. Why is it still going? Like it should have, okay, because the original, okay, this is the problem. I'm passing in the message as the original user query, but actually there shouldn't, the message should just be that we want it to find the results, right? So it should just be like, okay, query.text. We just wanted to find the results. So what it below is a history and a new question asked by you have access. Okay, generate a search query. So this is really the system prompt. This is kind of the system prompt for the entire tool. Not really the system prompt for the agent. Ooh. You put your job. You got generate a search query. Because this is really what the tool is doing. Okay, I'm just going to say your job is to find search results based off the user's question and pass messages. Once you get the search results, you're done. I need like a termination condition. All right. So that means, so really, your job is fine based off the user's question. So maybe we should be passing. How do we want to do this? So we give it the system prompt. And then instead of the user query, I'm going to say find search results for user query percent, not percent S, F strings. Okay. And let's see, we won't even pass it as a message history. Like, let's just comment this out for now. To do, okay. All right, so I won't try to make sure it only does this one job. So it's got the query prompt template. It's got that tool that it can use. Like in theory, we could give it like other database tools. And it says find search results. And it's got this really limited response there. Okay, limited system prompt. All right. And did I get rid of usage limit? Yes, I did. So let's see what happens if we do it like this. Oh, let me. All right, let's go. Restart it. I see a comment. Copilot Pro model not giving good results. Oh, I haven't even been doing Copilot. We did Copilot in the beginning, and then I think it's just pretty hard given that we're trying to use a framework that it doesn't know to figure out, what it should be. I think the Copilot Pro model is, I forget what the current Copilot Pro model is. I always try different ones these days. Usually I use the Claude 3.7 or 3.5 on it because people seem to like that one. But today we're not really using Claude today. Or we're not using GitHub Copilot today because it is a very tricky refactor. And it's easier just to go at it our own. Sometimes you got to go at it alone. All right, we're starting up the back end again. Being a little slow here. Human. See if we can read anything more about. I eventually wanted to do MCP. So agents can act as an MCP client to use their tools, or agents can be used within MCP servers, or they're building their own MCP servers. Okay, still starting up. So we're going to do a multi-agent application, agent delegation and dependencies. So this one was an example where we have this. We must return just a single joke. Joke factory, return r.output. Right, so here we tell it to run. Joke selection agent runs. And then it itself calls another one. Yeah, that's a kind of different way of doing it. Programmatic agent handoff. Okay, this is the one I was looking for. So yeah, and here they're using the base models. But here they didn't use the base model. They tend to use the base models for the return values, but not as much for the arguments. So in this case, we run the agent. This one did get usage limits, but the usage limits, I think, were just budget stuff. So usage request limit 15. Okay. What seat would you like? Answer. Oh, and then if the instance is search results, then they return. So that would be a way of, okay. So like once we get back the search results, we leave that loop and then go to the next agent. Yeah, that would make sense. All right. Okay, we are started up. Sorry, that one was a bit slow to start up. Maybe just whole computer going, nee, so much going on. All right, so I think this is like closest to what I'm currently leaning toward, right? All right, so we go here. Oh, wait. Let's go ahead and turn off streaming. We're doing streaming, not streaming this time. Developer settings, turn off streaming. All right. Best shoe for hiking. All right. Going back in. Oh, well, we didn't get very far in that one. Result.to-dict. Oh, and that was just with our thought step. Well, that makes sense. Let's just not do, just gonna to do that. I need a faster startup. I need the hot reloading. Okay, so let's go back to hot reloading with the unicorn because we should be able to hot reload some of these changes. Oh, and then I don't get the breakpoints. I haven't figured out breakpoint debugging with, I don't think you can do breakpoint debugging with hot reloading. That's something I haven't worked out. I don't think you can do it, right? Because sometimes you want breakpoint debugging, sometimes you want hot reloading. Kind of just depends, what stage you're at. All right, but right now let's just do some this and I'll take off streaming. Okay, just see what we get here. We got the responses. Okay, can only join an iterable. All right, so it says results did not come back as what it wanted. So results should have been a list. And it's saying that results is not a list. All right, so this might be the situation. If we were looking at this example here, right, you get results if the results is that. So here, like the agent itself has like an output type, right? Or you could say like the output type would be the like a particular model, right? So I think that we got a different return value here. All right, so I'm going to go back to the, let's do the debugger again. So we might want to change it to look a lot like this. It's just, what's a little confusing is that we've got like the tools that have output types, and then we have the agent, like that tools have return values, right? And then agents can also have output types, right? So with this flight search, it returns back flight details, and then the seat preference. So the seat preference agent uses, oh, that one doesn't even use tools. Okay, let's look at the one that uses tools. So flight search agent does use a tool, which is flight search, which returns back flight details. Okay, so what you see is the output type is either flight details or just failed, right? And that way it can figure out whether it didn't find anything at all. And that's very common in the Pydantic doc. So basically, if our tool returns a particular type, then our output type should be, you know, either what it returns or failure. So it has a like kind of an escape hatch. And then presumably if we had multiple tools, like it would probably be even a bigger union of tools there. All right, let's see. I'll turn off streaming. All right, I might have to go. I think I might have to go to a meeting. Let me check. Yeah, I only have 5 minutes. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. So what we want to see is what is the result value of this? Do we have results yet? No. It swallowed it. Okay, here we go. Results. No, it didn't swallow. Okay, great. All right, so the result is, oh, it actually like, yeah, it like worded it nicely. Okay, so that's the thing is that it worded it nicely. I need to explicitly tell it that I don't want a string response. I want, you know, like a structured response, because what it did is it actually used the LLM like to you know, to frame it, which would be fine in some cases, but in this case, I'm trying to use it for structure, right? So I think the solution is that we do need to basically add a I mean, this may end up kind of working. No, it didn't work, because what happened was that it took that list and turned it into a string. The agent did. So we need to tell the agent that its output type is actually going to be like a it's going to be a list of strings like that. Let's see, output type, or we could also give it a like an escape to say it's failed, but that would be okay. Or we could be more specific and say like, oh, a list of search results. But what if we did, okay, if we say this returns a list of strings, like, because you could say something like class search results, and that would be, you know, do it like exactly how it wants it, like base model, and then that's a list of strings, right? And that would be from Pydantic. Import base model, right? Where does base model come from? Pydantic import base model. Yeah, that should be right. Okay. From Pydantic import base model, search results. Okay. And you would say that search, so that this gave back. Wait, that's not, I just have this floating in space. Okay, results. Okay. It could give back that. I don't know if we need to do that. Okay, can we just say it's a list of strings? Can we just tell it like, listen, your output type is a list of strings, and then just have it do that correctly? Wasn't I typing this already? Some output type. Okay. Answer. No, I want to put it earlier. Output type is going to be up here. All right, output type equals list of strings, right? And then as long as if is instance results list strings, then we are good to go. If it's not, I don't know what we're going to do in that case. I guess this is where you put it in a while loop, right? So this is while, right? So like so in this case, they did like, I don't know why we would need the loop in this case, right? Because like, what else is it doing? So I think we should just we'll just say like, if not is instance result list. Yeah, something like that. All right, so my hope is that by doing that, it will stop it at the point where it got the list of strings, but I need to play around with it more. Oh, is it output format, not output type? Let's see. Agent. I think that's right. Output type, like this. All right, I gotta go to a meeting now. Thanks for hanging out, and especially thanks to John, especially given John knows this repo really well and wrote a lot of this code. So I'll keep working on this because now that I've started it, I do want to port it over because it seems like it's a good approach, because once we port it to one framework, we should be able to make it work with other frameworks too, right? Other agent frameworks, if we wanted to change frameworks. So generally like trying to move towards the more agent mindset. All right, I gotta go. Bye everyone. Thank you.